The Serpent Empire's capital is a sprawling network of obsidian architecture trapped under a perpetual eclipse. For decades, the Serpent Emperor has maintained control over these districts by relying on a constant supply of toxic biological weapons and dark magic. Lord Himu returns to the outer districts alone, stepping into the capital as an outcast, preparing to face an entire imperial army. When imperial enforcers attack citizens in the streets, Himu steps in. Instead of drawing a sword, he uses basic cryomancy, dropping the temperature until he locks their weapons in solid ice. This is a bloodless first move, but it serves as a calculated, open declaration of war against the regime. The Empire responds quickly. Assassins corner Himu in a lower city alleyway, forcing him to unseal his primary weapon. Xiao Gunya, a sword sprite, materializes in a burst of frost. She immediately complains about being kept in the dark for so long, before physically shifting into a glowing glacial blade. Himu and Xiao Gunya now stand before a fortress guarded by thousands, with nothing but a single blade and a handful of frost between them and the throne. The first major obstacle is the Viper's Gate. It's guarded by a massive mechanical serpent engineered to spit acid. Himu relies on Xiao Gunya's tactical sight to scan the machine. They target the central cogs, feeding ice into the gears until the internal pressure bursts the entire mechanism apart. They push straight into the grand obsidian hall, where the Emperor's elite vanguard is already stationed and waiting. Himu drives his blade straight into the floor. He channels his magic into the stone, triggering a violent eruption of jagged glaciers that traps the entire squad instantly. His cryomancy works as a tool for structural disruption, letting him use the sheer scale of the palace's own architecture against the soldiers defending it. Walking through the empty corridors, the two share a brief moment of quiet. Himu reflects on his childhood here and his decision to abandon the Empire's toxic methods to master the purity of ice. They eventually step into the royal greenhouses, an indoor jungle cultivated specifically to harvest deadly flora. The Empire's chief alchemist launches an ambush from the canopy, flooding the room with a highly corrosive, airborne, flesh-eating gas. To survive, Himu pulls heat away from the ambient air itself, constructing a perfect spherical barrier of absolute zero ice around them. The extreme cold neutralizes the chemical reaction of the gas, proving the absolute purity of Himu's magic is an effective shield against the Empire's biological warfare. Right outside the throne room, Himu's path is blocked by his adoptive brother, General Feng. Feng attacks with a whip of liquid fire, introducing a source of extreme heat engineered as a direct counter to Himu's cryomancy. This forces Himu into a deeply personal duel, confronting the physical heat of the brutal upbringing he endured alongside Feng. Instead of going on the offensive, Himu pivots his tactics. He uses Xiao Gunya strictly as a shifting, reactive shield to weather the strikes and exhaust Feng's energy. By weathering the heat that once defined his life, Himu demonstrates that his discipline has finally surpassed General Feng's aggression. Himu breaches the throne room, but the Serpent Emperor refuses to fight fairly. He uses dark magic to conjure a colossal shadow basilisk avatar. The physical pressure radiating from the dark magic begins to shatter Himu's ice armor, pushing his stamina to the brink. Recognizing they are outmatched, Xiao Gunya takes a massive risk, channeling 100% of her ancient sprite energy directly into Himu's body. This energy surge triggers his final form, the Glacial Sovereign. His eyes glow solid white, and the glacial blade erupts with pure, blinding starlight. This complete fusion represents the peak of their magical bond, unlocking the power required to break the Emperor's final defenses. Himu delivers the decisive strike, cleaving straight through the shadow avatar and permanently freezing the Emperor's throne. The moment the tyrant is defeated, the dark magic anchoring the eternal eclipse dissipates, clearing the sky. Himu and Xiao Gunya step out onto the palace balcony, presenting a free, sunlit world to the citizens below. With the Emperor removed and the throne physically encased in ice, the rigid command of the Serpent Empire finally fractures, ending decades of toxic rule.